have no tools. All right, let me see if I can just share a whiteboard and I will write it on that. Oh, come on, minimize. All right. Ariana's birthday, her father gave out hats that were cone shaped. Ariana was happy that day. The opening of the bottom of the hat was 3 centimeters long. So that sounds like a diameter to me. With a slant height of 7. Slant height of 7. Oh my God. What is the approximate amount of material used? So I'm looking for surface area. So I'm going to go look at my formula again. Slant height or surface area is pi r squared plus pi r L. Oh my goodness, this utility stinks. Surface area equals pi r squared plus pi r L. And I know the radius, that's 1.5, because if the diameter is 3, then the radius is 1.5. And then pi times 1.5. What I need is that slant height. So again, if I look at that side view, I've got 2 right triangles. If the whole thing is 3, then this is 1.5. I know the slant height is 7, so I need to do 7 squared minus 1.5 squared equals the height squared. So 7 squared minus 1.5 squared equals x squared. I've got the hypotenuse and the short leg. So once you do that, 7 squared minus 1.5 squared, 7 squared minus 1.5 squared, and then take the square root of that. You get oh wait, you don't even need to do that, do you? Pi r L, that's a 7. I'm making this more difficult than it needs to be. So you just do that function for question number 5. Okay. Let me see. Sorry, the Chromebook isn't working.
Miss Asher, can you put it back on the screen, please?
I can. I'm sorry. Hopefully it saves that whiteboard. So you want to do this. You actually don't need to find that height. I'm getting flustered because my computer is doing weird things. So 3.14 times 1.5 squared. This piece is going to give you 7.065. That's the base, right? That's the circle base. And then plus 3.14 times 1.5 times 7. This is going to be the lateral area, 32.97. So then if you add those up, 32.97 plus 7.065, you get basically 40 centimeters. Oh, wait a minute, but it says hint, there's no material used on the bottom of the hat. So we don't need this part, we just need the lateral area. So you just need the lateral area, you just need this part, so 33. How do we feel about that? I can't see the chat because I've got too many things open. Let's see if I can move that. Here we go. Are we good with that? All right. In the interest of time, because it is 8:20, I do want to take you guys to TestNav. So let me share my screen, but share my Schoology screen with you, not that whiteboard. If you go back into our folder, I've given you a link to TestNav, or you can just open up a new Google toolbar and search TestNav 8, all one word, TestNav 8. You do have some compound shapes and some constructions here. These will count as extra credit if you do them. So they are not mandatory. They'll count for extra credit. Whatever you get correct will help. What I'd like for you to do is click on this TestNav link. We're going to go to TestNav, but we're not actually going to log in with any information. So I'll put this in the chat as well in case that helps anybody. Don't go to sign in, go to SOL practice items. Probably you've done this before. We're going to go to Math 16 because that's the most recent, and then down to Geometry. Don't do the audio, just do the Geometry 16. And then start. There are 36 questions. I do not want to do all 36 questions. What I want to do is give you the opportunity to flip through and kind of play with the tools. Okay. So you've got some drag and drops here. Remember, if and only if is the two-headed arrow. So we need our two-headed arrow. We're just dragging and dropping. So kind of practice this with me. The or is the ice cream cone. So we definitely need this one. The and is the V, right? And therefore is the 3 dots. So we need the 3 dots and the and, right? Just practice the drag and drops. Notice up here in your toolbar, you have your calculator. This is your Desmos graphing calculator. When you open that up, you can make it bigger. Okay, that's how you're going to find your keyboard in order to go to the shortcuts where you've got the sine, cosine, tangent, and you've got that cube root. All right, so know that you can make that bigger and smaller. You've got X out tools, you've got a ruler, you've got a centimeter ruler, you've got a straight edge, right? In the exhibits over here on the right, that's where you'll find your formula sheet. The formula sheet is 2 pages. In order to get to the second page, you've got to look at that second tab. That's where your circle formula, your trig functions, and your Pythagorean theorem are. So make sure you know that that second page is here and you find your formula sheet over here in exhibits. In order to go to the next question, you're just going to click this blue arrow. Counter example means counter conclusion. So we want to keep what's at the beginning and change what's at the end. I don't really want to talk about this one unless you guys feel compelled to. Here you've got some drawing tools. So if you like to mark things, you can mark this with a pen or with a straight line. So you can highlight A and B if you want. Highlight A and B, you can make them black. And then you can change the color, maybe, right here. And you can highlight C and D a different color if you want. So I just want you to practice highlighting the lines. That's really important. You can also use your pen tool and make all of your obtuse angles one color. So all of those obtuse angles are bigger than 90 degrees. They should be congruent. And then change that to black. You can even change the size of the dot. And you can make all these acute angles small. Right? So acute plus acute, or acute equals acute. Obtuse equals obtuse, and obtuse plus acute equals 180. So 1 plus 2 would equal 180. 1 plus 3 would equal 180. 3 would equal 5. 5 plus 4 would equal 180. Right? So I just want you to kind of play with all of those tools. Use those tools if you need them. Okay? Everybody with me on TestNav? The link's in the chat if you need it. What equations could I set up here? How is this angle and this angle related? Are they equal, or do I add them and set them equal to 180?
They're equal.
So they're going to be same side supplementary. Same side supplementary. So those two are going to add up to 180 degrees, the two black angles. If I change this to green, I can write some different equations. This angle is alternate to this angle. So those two angles, the green ones, are going to equal each other. There's two equations you can write here. Okay, same side supplementary and alternate is equal. Questions on that? We're just kind of playing with the tools right now. If I know, like I substitute an X in there and I know that's not right, I can use these to X out my answers. You guys know all those tools, right? I don't know that that's actually the right answer. I was just practicing Xing things out. It makes me happy to cross stuff off. If you need to plot, okay, notice just plot a point, any random point. Notice that it's a different color. It's blue, right? That's the point that it's going to take. So if you want a line and 3 points are shown in the grid, the line on the grid contains the points -4, 7. So that's this point, -4, 7. And 5, -8, 5, -8. The other point is located at 3, 4. On the grid, plot another point with integral. That just means an integer. It means a whole number. So integral just means a whole number that lies on the line that passes through the point 3, 4 and is parallel to the given line. So I've got to find the slope, right? So that's up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 1, 2, 3. Up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So I want to go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and left 3, 1, 2, 3. Right? So I put that on there. Say I want to make sure that that's really a parallel line. I can take my tool and I can check it. That looks like it's going to be a parallel line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Okay. The computer is only going to take that point that you put up here. This extra line is just there for kind of insurance measure. It's not going to grade it. Okay, so you've got a lot of tools. You also have the highlight tool. How did I even get to that highlight tool? I don't even know. So you can highlight in blue and you can highlight in pink. So you can practice doing that, highlighting. I would definitely go into Desmos and plot this line. So if you're not sure what the line is here, I know I want to reflect over this line. So open Desmos And you can move this so you can see the question, and then type in y equals negative x. Y equals negative x is a negative sloping line. So then I can take my line tool and I can draw into my picture y equals negative x. I want to know what's the coordinate of t after that reflection. So t walks 1 over and then 1 over. That's going to be my coordinate right there. If I want to put a dot on it, I definitely can, right? Is it going to grade my green dot that I just put on there? It is not. I still have to select my answer choice. That's going to be negative or positive 4, negative 2. Positive 4, negative 2. So I'm doing a lot of using of the tools. Are you guys using the tools too? You're just watching me do it. It's going to help you if you use the tools too. Got another one here. You can draw on this coordinate plane, but it's only going to grade what you put on this coordinate plane. So if I want to rotate 180 degrees, that means I've got to switch and switch back. And then I've got to reflect over the y-axis. So this is a big problem. You've got to do one transformation, and then you've got to do this other transformation. You've got to do both things. I would maybe open Desmos for this, right? You've got your Desmos tool right here. This is one of the slides that I wanted to get to. So if you haven't done anything with me yet so far, open the test nav and go to question 8. This is your compass tool. So we have not used the compass, right? This is your pivot point, and this arrow is where your pen will draw. So the question says AB, AC, and AH are given. So AB is a long line, AC is a short line, and then AH is a long line with a bunch of dots on it. Points E, F, G, and H are on segment AH. Using a construction, what length is closest to AB minus 3AC? So this AB minus 3 of these. What we're going to do is take this bullseye of our compass, that's how you move it, and put it on A. Anytime you use the compass, I want you to use the fat line. So go to line thickness. See how that circle is almost going through, the dotted circle is almost going through the C, but not quite. You can use the gray dot to make it wider. And then you can use the end of the compass to make your line. When you make that thick line, I want it to cover that entire dot. What we did was just measure that without using a ruler. And then you're going to come up here and put your dot here. And I really want you to practice this. So that's 1 AC and 2 ACs. We need 3 ACs. So I'm going to put that on my fat line and make a new fat line. And then I'm going to move it up here. And instead of drawing a third line, I'm going to move it to measure the distance that remains. So I've got the whole thing, AB, minus 1, 2, 3 ACs. The distance that's left, and I can change the color of this, is what I want to measure. So I want to know how far it is from the black line to the green line. So now I'm going to move my compass one more time back down to A. And that looks like it's going to go through E. So my answer here is going to be AE. This is going to be one of those questions, ladies and gentlemen, that I want you to save for the end of the test. Okay? Unless you really like playing with the compass. If you really like playing with the compass and you want to try it, go for it. Otherwise, save this one for the end of the test because we haven't talked really much about how to use the compasses. Okay? Any thoughts or feelings about question number 8 and how to make that compass move? Play with the thin lines and the fat lines. Play with your colors. If you make a mistake and you don't like what you did, you can undo it. So you can undo anything you've done, and then you can redo it as well. It's not until you put it in the trash can that it's actually gone. You can also do this with the ruler. So if you want to take out the ruler, the only problem with the ruler is it spins around the middle, not around an edge. Right? So it spins around the middle. You have to kind of get it parallel, and then you can measure it. So you can do this problem with the ruler. It's just a little harder. Okay. And you've got a centimeter ruler and you've got an inch ruler, but you can't have them at the same time. We've got about 28 more questions, so let's keep clicking through. This one is asking, what construction represents the first step in constructing a line segment perpendicular to JK through point P? Well, if I want a perpendicular line through point P, I know I want a vertical line up this way. So I'm not sure what the compass is going to do, but I can try to make a vertical line, right? I don't know if that'll work or not. I move that over. You can't slide it. So I can test and see if I can make a perpendicular line. It's got to go through P. Still not quite sure. So maybe I want to test my compass. If I take my compass and I put it on P and I stretch it out so it touches those, can I make those marks that are in that picture? Try to do that. Maybe I put it on here and I do that. Ooh, that looks a little bit better. At least they're the right angle, correct? Maybe if I move this, so I didn't have it in the right spot. So if I move this guy over, look at that, he fits perfectly. At least the compass does that. That's going to be my answer, right? So even if you're not sure what to do, you can definitely use your tools to kind of play around and see if you can figure it out. Again, any of these compass questions I would save until the very, very end. Take a second on question 10 and see if you can figure out how to put an equilateral triangle inscribed. So all of the corners of my equilateral triangle have to fit inside this shape. And I've got to use A. Point A has to be there. This point Z looks like it's going to work. Or maybe it's point Y. Does that look equilateral? Or maybe it's point X. I think the answer is going to be Z. If you don't have a picture, draw one, right? If you don't have a picture, draw one. You're not going to have any drawing tools on this. So this is where you're going to have to use scratch paper, right? So if you get out your scratch paper, you want to draw your triangle and label it JKL. The perimeter equals 200. JK is 68, so JK is 68. KL is 62. So if I know 68 and 62, can I subtract those in order to find the missing side? So this is 70. And then the question says, what is true about those interior angles? So which one of these is true? In the chat, what do you think is true based on that drawing? How do I figure out which angle is biggest and which angle is least? If JL is the biggest side, then K is the biggest angle, right? If KL is the smallest side, then J is the smallest angle. So K is the biggest. K is the biggest. Yes, no, maybe so. Come on, guys, we got 10 more minutes. Talk to me.
Yes.
Okay. TestNav has more hard problems than it has easy problems. This one, you would just do the same thing. You would mark everything you know. Notice that these are congruent. What's one equation I could set up here if these are congruent? What does ST go with?
XY.
Absolutely, XY. So one equation I could write is 3x minus 1 equals 4x minus 5. What's another equation I could write? What does TW go with?
YZ.
YZ, absolutely, YZ. So I could do 2x plus 1 equals x plus 5. And then those other sides go together as well. SW is the first and the last letter, and XZ is the first and the last. So those also could be. All of those equations should work out. You just need to notice that that's a congruent symbol, and you need to use the key up at the top, right? So let's search through and find another easy problem. You tell me yes or no. Do we want to do this one? Is it easy?
Yeah, I think so.
You think it's easy? I usually skip these kinds of questions, but we can 100% do it. So PR equals PS. PR equals PS. That's a side, right? And then QSR and TSR, QSR and TSR, that's this angle and this angle. So now I've got a side and an angle, and that's given. So I like that. Then TSR is congruent to QSR. TSR is congruent to QSR. TSR and QRS. Aha. I'm reading that wrong. So that's this big angle and this big angle. Those are the base angles of isosceles triangles, right? So if I know these two sides are the same, then I know the base angles are the same. So I would drag base angles over here. Then SR and RS, SR and RS. Oh, I like that one. Why are those two things the same? Reflexive property, I know somebody's saying in their head. So now the question is, do I have angle, side, angle, or side, angle, side? So I've got a side, an angle, and a side, and a side, an angle, and a side. But I also have angle, side, angle, and angle, side, angle. So I feel like this could be either one. This is why I don't like these very much. Right? But we definitely could get these two pieces. I like it. How about this one? Do we want to do it or skip it?
Skip.
Skip. That looks like a lot. Do it or skip it? We're on a quest for easy questions.
Skip.
Skip, okay. Looking for easy questions. Do it or skip it?
Skip.
Okay. We've got 6 minutes. I'm trying to find at least 2 easy questions. Do it or skip it? I'll give you a hint. I think I would skip this one. I would definitely skip this one too. This one looks familiar though. Do we remember how to do these? N minus 2 times 180. I'm going to take that silence as a no, so we're going to skip that. That one looks crazy, but it's circles. That's what we just did. Still looks medium to me. I bet we can find an easier one. We can always go back. Oh, this one looks straight out of our warm-up. How did we do this on the warm-up?
We looked at the possible ways to find the answer.
We did. So what two? We wrote 3 different equations. What was one of the equations we wrote?
3x plus 5 equals 80.
Absolutely. So 3x plus 5 equals 80. And when we solved that, we got 25, right? What was another equation we wrote?
X plus 15 equals 80.
X plus 15 equal to 80. So this angle is small and this arc is big. What did we have to do to the big arc in order to make it equal the small angle? 80 divided by 2. 80 divided by 2. Okay, so that's one easy question. I love it. We got to find one more. How about this one? This one looks really the same to me. So if angle SOT is 68, what's arc ST? In the last one, these two things were equal, right? So here, what are these two things going to be?
Equal.
Also equal, right? So 68 degrees. And then in the last one, this angle here was small and the arc was big. So what did we have to do to the big arc in order to make it the small thing? Two smalls equal one big. So 68 divided by 2 equals 34. So SRT is going to be 34 degrees. This small angle, I think of this as like a dart, right? Or an arrowhead. So the pointy part of the arrowhead is half the size of the inside. or half the size of the arc. If this is 68, this is going to be 34. Easy if you remember it, hard if you don't, right? So it's just a matter of what you remember. This should look familiar. Anybody remember how to do this one? Okay, still looking for one easy question. How about this question? We've got 10 more. There might be an easy one. That looks complicated. How do I do this one? If this is the center and this is the radius, how do I write the equation in Desmos? Anybody? We can always look at our formula sheet. So I've got the formula. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And I know this is the circle center. So what would I type here? X minus -4 squared plus y minus 6 squared equals, and the radius is 10 squared. Oop, I didn't put my square. That's why it's not drawing my circle. Here we go. Then you just plug in all your points and see which one works. 0, 4 looks like it works. 2, 10 definitely looks like it does not work. Oh wait, that's 4, 0, not 0, 4. 0, 4 does not work. 4, 0 works. Right? All right, guys, it is 8:50. It is time to go. Good luck to everybody who is testing tomorrow. If you are not testing tomorrow, I will see you tomorrow, and have a great day, okay?
Have a nice day.
See you, Theodora. Joseph, Naya, it's time to wake up and go to your next class. Second block's about to start. Okay, just checking. Do you have any questions, sweetie?
No.
Okay. Have a great day, honey. Bye.
Thanks.